Hello, Romans here and welcome to another music review. I review every album from a viewpoint of a musician, as I am a singer, songwriter and a bass player for my own group Jakobe, and more than 2 years ago we released our debut album called Pursuits in Life. What makes it unique is that it's a heavy prog rock without guitars. Instead you have drums, bass, saxophone and keyboards. You can check out all of our music videos on my YouTube channel. In the descriptions of all these videos you will find all the information about where is the record available. It's available on all digital platforms like Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp, but also in this digipack version of a CD with a very beautifully illustrated 20 pages long booklet. So in case you want one, all you need to do is contact me via email, on Facebook or on Instagram, or you can get one through Bandcamp as well. And today I'm going to review the new album from Vulkan, Technatura.
Music review. Music review.
There isn't really much I know about this band apart from the fact that they are a heavy prog rock band from Sweden, and they released their first album in 2011, and the album I'm about to review is actually their third studio album. As of now, I've heard it 11 times. I'm a bit late to this review as the album came out in the early May, but if you watch my videos, you know that I wouldn't make a review for an album if I didn't enjoy it, and this is one hell of a great record, so let's dive right into the review. Over 9 minutes long opener, these visual hacks immediately gave me Opeth vibes, especially like the last 4 albums from Opeth, starting with the Heritage, where they started playing like this heavy prog with 70s psychedelic hard rock thrown in, and this is exactly what Vulkan on this album remind me most of, especially of the In Cauda Venenum album, which is the latest album from Opeth. I made a review for it last year, so I'm most familiar with that album. There's also this part with a very weird, like, polyrhythm percussion kind of a thing. At first, when I was listening to this album, I didn't even know it was actually coming from the record. I thought that it was some kind of a noise from the outside world, but no, it's actually from the record. There's even a flute in a dynamically lower part, and actually you can find quite a few, I don't want to say unconventional instruments, but let's just say not instruments you find in a heavier prog music that often, like flute, violin and so on. I'm gonna mention them also later. And there's this one vocal part that just screams Opeth for me. Hunter/Prey is this short acoustic piece with a bit of modern psychedelia thrown in. Redemption Simulation is one of the heavier tracks, and there's a great riff. Even though, apart from the fact that they play kind of a heavy prog music, their music is not very riff-based. We hear riffs very occasionally, and basically no songs are really led by riffs, which is such a signature thing for progressive metal, and that's why this band can be labeled as heavy prog. And I was just thinking about it when I was listening to this album. Apart from like last 4 albums from Opeth and this album, I don't really know that many heavy prog rock bands. I mean, I listen to a lot of progressive metal. I know a lot of neo-prog bands, which I kind of stay away from because I don't really like it. But when it comes to the heavy prog, it's just, I don't really know many bands. Of course, it may be my limitation, so if you know more bands in this style, just let me know, because I really like this style. Also, there are great melodies in this track, and I've just noticed that there aren't really many guitar solos on this album. I think I've counted that there's, I think, one. I may be wrong, but I think there was one guitar solo where I was like, wow, there's a guitar solo. Bewildering Conception of Truth is this almost 8 minutes long song, and I really like the verses. And they are repeated quite a few times, but every time they're different arrangement-wise, which is really great. Also, there's a nice violin. And this is a really great track, and it's in a 3/4 time signature, and they actually are very much in favor of this, I don't want to say odd, but let's say not very conventional time signatures, because almost every track is in a different than 4/4 time signature, at least for certain part. Klagan's Snara, I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, is a short ambient instrumental with what I think is Mongolian throat singing, and it's like a prelude to the following track. Requiem, which is one of the 3 tracks sung in Swedish, is a groovy, dark, softer track in a 5/8 time signature. It's again almost 8 minutes long, and actually at certain points it gave me Ghost vibes, another colleagues of theirs from Sweden. In the second half, the song changes from 5/8 to 6/8, giving it more urgency. I'm not sure if I will pronounce this next title right, because I think it's in Swedish, but Spockskep. We have this very 70s prog noodling. At the beginning, which is actually one of a few really technical moments on the album. I like that this album is mostly about atmosphere, about groove, about melodies, not really about showing off, and that's always a big plus for me. We have this contrast between mellow verses and a very punchy chorus, and the song just has a great melody. The title track, Technatura, if I pronounce it right, is actually a short interlude which is just under a minute. Medansrit, again in Swedish I guess, brings Altar Bridge to mind with those guitars. There's a great melody, and Flute yet again makes the song a bit exotic. I really love the atmosphere of Blinding Ornaments, which is a very emotional track, and it's pretty interesting that basically every part in the track is different, so I'm not even sure I'm calling these parts right, but you've got like a verse, bridge, chorus. We hear a violin again, and then at the end there's, I think, bridge again. The Royal of Fallacy is this over 10 minutes long opus that reminds me a lot of the album A Matter of Life and Death from Iron Maiden, which was their proggiest album. Fear not, puppet, you're free to say. I think there's the first guitar solo in this track, and also there's this really great part with those weird polyrhythms. I love that simple but fat bass groove, and we also get some really extreme and harsh vocals towards the end, which are kind of a surprise at this point. Even though the album kind of kept its heaviness, it has never got to this extreme, so it comes as a really big surprise. The final track, The Madness Sees No End, reminds me with all those trumpets of Thank You Scientist. There isn't really anything else to add. I really enjoyed this album, so if you don't know this band, definitely check them out, especially this record. If you are already fans of them, you can let me know in the comment section below whether you agreed or disagreed with me. And also, if you already know their discography, you can let me know how well do you think the new album compares to their previous two albums, maybe which one is your favorite one. If you like this review and if you like the reviews I'm making, consider supporting me by buying my album. Because I include audio samples and thus I make my reviews, I think, the most informative and entertaining to watch. I also usually run a risk of getting a copyright claim, which basically means I will never be able to earn any money of these videos. So basically the best and the only way how you can support me is by buying my debut album Pursuits in Life. At this point there's only one available, but there's more to come. You can follow me on Facebook or on Instagram. You can find the links to both in the description of this video below. Also, if you like this review, don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe. You can check out my own original music and I think you're gonna like it if you like Vulkan. You can check out my live performances, my worst to best series, and quite a lot of other reviews as well. Thanks a lot for watching.